Hello, everybody. My name is Pinnicky, and I'm just doing this webinar to give everybody a idea of what Dascoin is and what its impact will be. So today is the 29th of June, 2017. And as you can see, the first slide says the world on the brink of the next tech revolution. So what is it? Let's go through it. Technology is transforming our world. Google has changed information. Amazon have changed shopping. Facebook have changed friendship. Apple have changed phones. But there's a far more significant change that's coming that will impact every single person on the planet. Money, currency, financial services. That's the big revolution that's coming. The way we pay for goods and services is already changing. People are using less cash. The credit and debit cards are still popular, but they're on the way out because you've got things like Apple Pay, Google Pay, Android Pay. Transactions will end up being on your phone. If you think about it, your phone is a more secure way of doing transactions because you have fingerprint ID on them. So you can see the next step that's coming where there will be no point in A, printing money, and B, printing cards. And if you realize it, the money that you actually get paid into your bank, the money that you transact in every day, gets paid into your bank account. Then payments go out for various goods, services, etc. And you never actually see any of the money. Only the money that you actually, when you go to the ATM and you take your cash out, that's the money you actually see. Bitcoin is the granddad of all. And Bitcoin is just the tip of the iceberg. It was the world's first and currently most popular digital currency. Blockchain technology is what's behind it. It was invented to support it. So instead of a physical currency, which you currently are using, regulated by governments and controlled by banks, Bitcoin puts money in the hands of the people using the blockchain. So you don't need a bank. Every person that uses Bitcoin or transacts in it is the bank of Bitcoin. And the fees are tiny and there's no government involvement. And also digital currency doesn't suffer from inflation. So it's changing the nature of money. Just look at this. A dollar, literally a dollar's worth of Bitcoin bought in August 2010 would have been worth $38,400 in May 2017. How many of you, ask yourself a question, how many of us have wasted a dollar, bought a lottery ticket, spent it on something in the dollar store or the pound store, and thrown it in the dustbin? Shocking, isn't it? So March 2017, history was made as Bitcoin became worth more than gold. Gold is a great commodity. It's a store of value, but you can't walk around with gold bars. Bitcoin is basically the next version, which is digital. It's a digital asset. The Bitcoin market is continuing to grow. And even though there's lots of press and media coverage on Bitcoin, it is really just the tip of the iceberg. There are so many other implications of what's coming next. And my favorite person to listen to on the internet, go to YouTube, look up Andreas Antonopoulos. This guy's amazing, well worth listening to. He says where Bitcoin and other blockchains are today is approximately where the internet was in 1992. So in terms of technology, in terms of infrastructure development, and in terms of adoption patterns, we're sort of miles away from how we actually use the internet now. We don't even think about it. And that's what's going to happen with digital currency, cryptocurrency, digital assets. Bitcoin is brilliant, but it does have limitations. Don't forget, it was the originator, so it couldn't have thought that far ahead of what was going to happen, how this was going to progress. So transaction confirmation has now slowed down because of the number of users and the number of people using Bitcoin. But even then, it's still accepted by very few merchants. I think currently the figure has jumped due to Japan taking on Bitcoin as a currency to about 500,000. Anonymity is one of the reasons why many governments are still unsure about Bitcoin, is because there is no know your customer, there's no anti-money laundering policy. So that's where governments are like, not sure. So most governments don't recognize it. Its inability to comply with emerging regulations, which is also becoming an issue. More and more governments need to know the customers who are transacting in a currency, whether it be the pound, the dollar, Bitcoin, Ethereum, doesn't matter. There's also a lack of effective governance. Bitcoin is now going through a slowdown in transactions, and because there is no central body that has control of Bitcoin, in effect, they can't get a consensus to decide which direction to go in to improve the services of Bitcoin, how to speed up the transactions. So what is the next move? We've seen what Bitcoin's done, and it's the originator, it's the people that came up with the first cryptocurrency. But there's so many other innovative businesses which are focusing on bringing new digital currencies to the market. And if you missed out on Bitcoin, then there's so many other coins out there. A paradigm shift is what's coming. And if you look at every innovator, somebody else comes along and improves their original model. So Yahoo gave way to Google. MySpace gave way to Facebook. Nokia gave way to Apple. So in everything we do, there's always somebody who invents something, then somebody else who comes along and improves on it. It's the people who see these trends early on that really benefit from it. I think I heard somewhere that Mark Zuckerberg called about 38 of his friends to tell him about Facebook, and 33 of them said, no, this is never going to work. 5 of them thought, this has got possibilities. So it's always the early people who benefit from those trends because they see potential. So the blockchain, which we talked about earlier, is the technology that's powering this era of digital currencies. And look, all the banks around the world might be saying things about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and saying, no, we're not interested in that. 80% of the world's banks are developing their own blockchain technology. Dubai is aiming to shift 100% of government transactions to the blockchain by 2020. The Indian government sees blockchain as the means to abolish cash. It's already happening, but as usual, if you think of the internet or any major innovation, it sort of fed into our lives and we accepted it. But it's time we sort of started to see what was happening in the background so we could actually benefit from this major shift in the next revolution. So Dascoin, and this is what it actually means, is a digital asset system conversion instrument. It's the world's most advanced and secure solution for exchanging value. What is exchanging value? Well, when you give somebody money for a product, that's exchanging value. You can pay with gold, you can pay with diamonds, you can pay with digital currency. This is exchanging value. So Dascoin is the currency of trust. This journey started in 2014, and these are the directors of the ecosystem of Dascoin. These are just some of the people behind it. You've got Blair Baker, who's the CEO of DasPay. Blair was the co-owner of FXCM, one of the largest currency trading operations in the world. Dr. Wedekind, I met the other day. He was director at Volvo. Terry O'Hearn is the executive chairman of Das Financial. Michael Matthias, CEO of Dascoin. George Sarcevic, director of Web Wallet. John Preto, director of CL Singapore, which is NetLeaders. These are all members who are on the board. Dr. Wedekind was director of Volvo. Lim Sun Hock was director at Compaq. Took it from a $30 million company within 7 years to $1 billion company. He's on our board of directors. Then we've got Pavel Baines from Bluezell Networks, who is basically working on our smart contracts. Pavel Baines has just been given an award for Tech Entrepreneur for 2017. He's now on the World Economic Forum and also will be speaking at Davos. KCC is Vice President for Education for NetLeaders. And then we've got Brian Semke, who's the CEO of Carter Worldwide Canada. We also have a general counsel for the Dascoin ecosystem. So you can see that these are world-class people. And look at the companies that between them they've all worked in. American Express, Compaq, Disney, ExxonMobil, Goldman Sachs, PayPal, Samsung, Vodafone, Volvo. So we're talking serious people who have huge reputations behind them. So 2014 is when the journey began. I think the journey began when Michael realized that the current banking system was broken. It didn't work. And there had to be another way around, not just the banking system, but currency itself and how we transact. So they spent the next almost 2 years, between 2015 and 2016, developing this concept of Dascoin and what we have today. Then we had a leadership meeting in Serbia, followed by Global Leadership Summit in Dubai. The release of the white paper was in Hong Kong. And then the biggest part of this initial journey was the launch of the blockchain. That's the most crucial point in our history, because the blockchain is the spinal cord of this business, of this industry. Without the blockchain, there is no currency. So our blockchain is live. If you want to go and have a look at it, go to dascoinexplorer.com and you'll see the blockchain working. So we launched in Zurich. Following the release of the white paper, we all went to Zurich, and March the 31st, we witnessed the historic launch of the Dascoin blockchain in Zurich. In Zurich, we had a magazine editor who came along to the presentation and decided he would do an editorial on Dascoin and the team. So if you get a magazine called Millionaire Asia, which goes out to 150,000 millionaires worldwide, probably mostly over Asia, and you'll find that there's a big article all about Dascoin. It's got the bios of all the people and some of the people who are currently promoting Dascoin. So the future is financial freedom. That's the ultimate goal, is the full realization of the Internet of Value, where we can trade in assets using our own specialized private network. But here's the simplicity of it. The money that you transact in today, whether it be pounds, dollars, rupees, whatever it is, suffers from a few major flaws. One of them is the fact that governments print more money and the value of that money goes down. Its buying power decreases. Digital currency has a limited supply, which means that its value, as more and more people use it, goes up. So does it not make sense to use more digital currency than it does to use what we call fiat money? So realizing this potential is what we're really talking about. So a lot of companies use this word, the ecosystem. What is an ecosystem? Just to read this out and then give you more of an overview. Once you're authenticated via network, users gain access to cycles, which can be used for network services or to create, mint Dascoin. Very simple. Bitcoin's model is a system called mining, which is very wasteful, it's inefficient, and it's just not eco-friendly. But what is an ecosystem? Let's take the money that you're using today. You input your money into say Dascoin, for example. You purchase your cycles. You go through the process, and your coins are delivered into your web wallet. An ecosystem is a complete all-in-one solution. So you've now put your fiat money in. You've bought your license. Your coins are now in your web wallet. The web wallet is actually a part of the Dascoin ecosystem, just as DasPay is. So that means you don't need a third party to be able to use, transact, or go to the ATM and withdraw. This is what an ecosystem is. So I suppose if you look at it one way, the planet Earth is an ecosystem, and we don't need anybody from any other planet for us to be able to live, work, and do what we do. So that's what a full ecosystem is. Let's have a look at how it's designed. Just a simple breakdown. So Dascoin is fast. Our payments are in 6 seconds using one of the fastest blockchains out there. With Bitcoin, transactions can take up to 10 minutes, can take hours to confirm. That's not a bad thing, because don't forget, Bitcoin has been around for about 8 years now. So they could never have envisaged what would possibly happen. Dascoin, usefulness. After 8 years, Bitcoin is accepted by, well, when this slide was made, was 200,000 merchants, but due to Japan, it's now 500,000 merchants worldwide. When Dascoin releases, DasPay will be acceptable in 60 million outlets worldwide, which will accept Dascoin. Safety. Bitcoin is vulnerable. Millions of dollars worth have been stolen from exchanges. Dascoin, on the other hand, has the most secure digital currency with a hardware wallet required on every transaction. In other words, you don't have a choice. You have to have a hardware wallet for every single user. This is what makes it more secure. Trusted. With Bitcoin, governments are wary of the anonymity of Bitcoin and its well-documented links to crime. Yeah, that's a bit of a grey area, but this is the message that seems to be coming out, which is that they're using this anti-money laundering, know your customer. So payments are private on the Dascoin blockchain, but not anonymous. Every user is authenticated. Versatility. Bitcoin's blockchain is more basic and is difficult to adapt. The Dascoin blockchain supports smart contracts and other network services, allowing for integration of new product developments. So there's a lot more that can be used in the Dascoin blockchain that can't be used by very many others. And this is just gives you an idea of what the Dascoin ecosystem and the board are looking at. And these are the possibilities. So if we look at just digital currency, we've got e-commerce, global payments, microfinance. Then we look at record keeping. There's title records, voting, healthcare, intellectual property, smart contracts. We've got digital rights, trade finance, wages, securities, private markets, debt, crowdfunding. There's a huge possibility in the Dascoin ecosystem, and we've only tapped into a very small portion of this. This is what we call the the validator, which is a cutting-edge hardware wallet that is required to be used in all Dascoin transactions. So every single member must have a hardware wallet to be able to use the Dascoin system, payment system. This makes your hardware, your wallet, a lot more secure. It's got accountability, it's got security, it's got legitimacy and KYC. So every government agency or any bank that's saying, oh, they haven't got KYC, Dascoin has all of it. So what is next for Dascoin? Well, the second quarter of 2017, which we've just hit, the external web wallet is live. You can view the blockchain. The third quarter of 2017, which will be between July and September, the web wallet payment cards will come. The internal exchange will open, and the hardware wallet functionality will commence. So the internal exchange, members will be able to buy and sell Dascoins between members by this period. By the fourth quarter, stock trading using cycles will commence. The NetLeaders app will be released, and the first smart contracts will be released. Then we've got the first quarter of 2018, where we'll then hit the external exchanges. The web wallet app will go live, and the validator version 2 will kick in. These are all the different licenses that are available to members. Anybody who wishes to join, these are your options, and just make your own choice based on your own circumstances and what you feel is suitable for you. Let's just have a look at what you actually receive for each license. So let's take a look at the €100 license. 2 weeks ago, or literally 13 days ago from today, the 29th of June, you would have received 340 coins on your account on a €100 license. On a €5,000 license, just to give you an example, you would have received 40,281 coins. But due to this thing called frequency lock, I'm now going to calculate for you so you understand what the differences are. Currently, today on the 29th of June 2017, the frequency lock is 7.4. So I do 6050. So sorry. Let's look at the €100 license. 1210 times 2 because you get one upgrade, divided by 7.4 gives you 327 coins. So today, the 29th of June 2017, you would have got 327 coins. In 2 days' time, from the first, let me just check, from Saturday, and then on the 5,000 license, you would receive currently, you would receive 71,500 times 2 times 2 again, because you've got 2 upgrades on this account, divided by 7.4 gives you 38,648 coins. So every 2 weeks, this allocation of coins goes down, and it keeps going down every 2 weeks as more and more licenses are sold. This just gives you an example of what happened. So back in 1st of March 2017, on a €2,000 license, the frequency lock was 5.4. So you would have got 9,777 coins on this package, on this license, sorry. By the 16th of May, the frequency lock had gone up to 6.8, which means you would have got 7,764 coins on the same €2,000 license. So the sooner you purchase a license, the lower your frequency lock and the more Dascoin your cycles will be able to create. One of the reasons for this is as we get closer and closer to the launch date, obviously, like anything, the allocation of coins goes down because we're getting closer to that date when the public get to find out what Dascoin is. So you can take the first steps, choose a license that suits you, and make your own history. Let's just look at some of the other currencies that are out there and which are exploding. And these figures are probably old now because we're at the 29th of June, but it gives you a good idea. I mean, Bitcoin back in March was $1,184. It then went up to $2,391 in May. Ethereum went from $15.69 to $201 in May. Monero went from $12.72 to $57.57. All of these digital currencies are exploding. The market has seen the possibilities. The market capitalization of all digital currencies is currently running at about $104 billion. We have a powerful global network based in Singapore with ecosystem partners in Dubai, Hong Kong, Belgrade, and Zurich. NetLead is part of a global movement, but this is what our mission is. We want to lay down a global bedrock of trust that unlocks prosperity for everyone. So we have a currency of trust and we're building a network of trust. So if you've been misled, misinformed, and you've had a bad experience in the past, Dascoin NetLeaders is your way forward because we are building a trust network. This is the silver bullet. This is going to be the most advanced mobile payment solution for digital currency, which no other cryptocurrency in the world has. Yes, you heard it here. No other digital currency in the world has this payment solution. It's going to be DasPay will be an app very similar to Google Pay, Android Pay, Apple Pay, and it will be accepted at over 60 million merchants worldwide. So anywhere there's a Visa and MasterCard network, or anywhere that accepts Apple Pay, Google Pay, etc., will be able to use Dascoin in. And the reason is because you'll have a currency exchange built into the system. So the minute you transact in, say, pounds, dollars, etc., and you do the transaction, there will be a sell order, and it will sell and repurchase dollars, pounds. So as far as the outlet is concerned, they get paid straight away, and they're not bothered which currency you're using in the background. And this is one of the reasons why Dascoin will become mainstream. This will be one of the most innovative currencies to come out in years. But let's just look at a possibility. And I'm going to read out the disclaimer at the bottom. Financial projections and growth forecasts are for information purposes only and should not be construed as financial advice. And none of the data included herein are guaranteed. Terms and conditions are subject to change. On a €5,000 license with a frequency lock of 6.8 and all the cycles converted to Dascoin, the maximum coins you would get is 42,058. If the price for each Dascoin went up to €1, then this example would be €42,000 and 58 cents. This is just an example. If it went up to €5, then would on the same 42,058 coins, you'd be looking at €210,000. These are examples. We have no idea where the market will lead, where the market will go, because it's all down to what the market decides the price of the currency will be. This is just to give you an idea of what is possible. Also, so you understand that if you look at what's happened with some of the other currencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some of the other currencies that are out there, we have a trusted network. Every member will be KYC'd. Every member who uses Dascoins will have a hardware wallet. Every member will have access to DasPay. This means that we will be the first cryptocurrency in the world to go mainstream, to have access to 60 million outlets worldwide. This is not a claim, this is fact. So here's a final thought I want to leave you with, and just have a think over this. There are visionaries in the world who think outside of the box. That's one of them, Mark Zuckerberg. He wants to make the world more open and connected. There are also those who do it different. Elon Musk. He likes to be involved in things that change the world. There are those that want to constantly improve and innovate. Steve Jobs. And he says think differently. These are the people who refuse to accept the norm. They don't accept when somebody says you can't do this, they say why. They don't just accept it and sit back. So the question is, who would you follow? Here's a question for you. Are these the next visionaries and innovators? Can you sit back and let this pass you by, knowing what you know now? So my name is Pinnaky. Thank you for listening to what I had to say. If you found this useful, then speak to whoever has told you about Dascoin, whoever's shown you this video, and let's all transact in digital currencies together and make a difference in the world. Thank you very much, everybody. And it's been great talking.